Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back, guys. If you clicked on this video, it must mean you like computer science or you like my content. And if you don't like computer science and you still clicked on this video, then I don't know, you just must like the sound of my voice or you just must like me, so thank you for that. In this video, I'm going to introduce my first ever mobile application that I plan on publishing. So it'll be interesting, even if you're not into mobile application development or if you're not into coding. It's actually quite cool to see my ideas behind it and how I got to the stage of knowing that I want to publish it. It's going to be an interesting one. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. And okay, so what's the background behind this application? The truth is that when I first actually started coding it, I wasn't planning to publish it. So it goes back to when I actually started first learning Flutter, and when I realized that you could actually test your code and test your application on an emulator as well as a physical device. You know, it amazed me because like you can see your creation real time, and with the changes that you code, you can see the app changing physically on your device, on your personal device. And it was so cool because you didn't even have to publish your application anywhere to any app store or play store for you to see it. And by the way, that's actually the reason why I bought an Android phone. I used to have an iPhone, and when I realized that you could test your Flutter code on your actual device, I tried to do it and it didn't work because the reason was back then I only had a Windows machine, and to test your application on your iPhone you need a Mac, and I had a Windows machine and an iPhone, so it didn't match up. So I either could buy a Mac and run it on my iPhone or buy an Android and run it on my Android with my Windows machine. So of course I decided to switch out my iPhone for an Android because I didn't really care too much about what operating system I use. Oh yeah, also my sister got fed up of me using her Android phone to keep testing my code, so I had to buy my own one. I was forced to do it anyway. So anyway, I realized that it will be actually very helpful for me to, instead of wasting my time on useless projects, code an application, just a small application that was helpful to me personally, and I could just keep it on my personal phone and use it whenever I needed to. And so that's what I did. And then long story short, because I don't want to keep rambling on, I came to the realization that this application that I have on my phone would actually be a good project if I took it seriously and made it into an application that's desirable for people to download. And if I made it accessible to the public, then maybe I could help a few people out and do a service. So, you know, I started working hard, improving the application, adding all new features, planning the user interface and designing it and everything, designing the logos, the icons, everything. And that's actually one thing that I'm particularly happy with, because normally when I would just work on projects, I would go online on, for example, dribble.com and look for inspiration for user interfaces, etc. Because, it's just a waste of time designing a whole user interface, thinking about where to put things. But for this application, it was all off the dome. So that means everything was original and I designed it all myself. So yeah, and I also used to do graphic design before. I still do. So it was, it was a good combination of my skills. So once I had the application finalized, I released it on the Google Play Store as an open beta. Open beta? Wait. How do you even say that word? Is it beta or beta? Anyway, I released it for testing on the Google Play Store, and I only gave my brother and my sister access to it. The reason why I did this was so that they could test it out and give me feedback on it, tell me whether the application is good or not, if I need to improve it, fix any issues, or add any features to it. And the reason I chose them is because I know that they would be brutal with their feedback. And oh yeah, they were the only ones that I knew within my family and most of my friends who had Androids. Everyone else was using iPhone. So yeah, you can probably guess the outcome. They came back instantly with a ton of criticism and many improvements I could make and issues that I needed to fix. They were very critical, but I used it as a stepping stone to actually, make the app good, because at the end of the day, if the application is not good for the users, then there's no point publishing it. So since then, I've been repeating the process, going back to the code, improving it, adding features, fixing the bugs, and then re-releasing it as a new version on the Play Store. Again, only for testing. Then my brother and my sister would use it and give me feedback on it. In this video, we're going to do one more session of debugging. So we're going to fix a few issues and maybe add a new feature or two new features. And hopefully by the end of the video, it will be ready to release as an actual application for people to download. If that's done successfully, then in the description of the oh man, great. I just realized that I should have recorded this video a couple weeks back, because when I was working on the code, the features that I was adding and the bug fixes I was doing was actually proper interesting, and it would have been way better for you guys to see that in this video than whatever we're going to do in this video. I'm not saying this video is going to be boring, but the stuff that I was doing weeks ago would definitely be more interesting. It's fine, man. It's fine.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Let's continue. So now you're probably wondering, what is the actual application? What is it all about? Now, I'm going to quickly put this out there. The application is a religious application and it relates to my religion. However, if you're not religious, or if you don't follow the same religion, you don't necessarily need to click off the video. The video in general is about the process of coding the application and publishing it. And specifically my first application that I'm publishing. So you don't need to get too caught up in the intricacies of the application and what it does. The reason why it is a religious application is because I wanted to code something and create something that has a personal connection to me. And as I mentioned before, it was initially something that I would personally use. So, like I said, if you're not religious or if you don't follow the same religion, you don't need to click off. So everyone, hopefully keep watching the video and you'll be very interested in the application. Also, hopefully, if you don't know much about my religion, then hopefully through this video you can learn a bit more about it. So the application is about something called dhikr, which is an Arabic word, and the plural of dhikr is adhkar. If you directly translate it, it translates to remembrance. And in my religion, it is a practice that we are recommended to do throughout our day and whenever we have time. It is a practice that involves repeating specific phrases or words, and we believe that it has a direct impact on us internally and externally. If you search up on Google, you probably find something that says Islamic spiritual meditation. Okay, so you can kind of get the gist of it, and we believe that it purifies the heart of the practitioner and brings them closer to God. So we are recommended to do this like whenever we can throughout the day, and there are certain prescribed ones. So prescribed is kind of like a short prayer or a short supplication that we're prescribed to say a certain amount of times, a certain number of times. Now the issue is that a lot of people may find this difficult to do. One reason may be because they think they don't have time. Another reason may be because they find it hard to track the adhkar or the remembrances that they have done. Another one is because there are too many. Another one is because they can't remember all of them. Another one is because maybe they can't read Arabic. And there are so many things that I could address. And so I decided to make this application that helps you keep up with all your adhkar, all your remembrance. And it's supposed to be an adhkar companion in general. So what I've realized is that the application actually can be quite general. So I've chosen a specific niche, a specific topic, which is dhikr or adhkar, which is a religious practice. However, if you take your own niche, your own specific topic, then the application that can apply to you. For example, it has a tracker, it has a counter, so you could use that for anything, to be honest. If you want to track your habits, if you want to do any of these things, and the application, the features it has can be used within many applications for many different purposes. Okay, next we're going to jump into a demo. So I'm going to run the emulator and run the application so far of what we have, and we'll talk through different features and what I've implemented recently specifically, and also what I'm going to implement in this video. Okay, so now we're going to run the application on the emulator, and I'm going to walk you through it, tell you all the features, and I'll probably explain it in a little bit of detail. Also, just before we launch it, I'm going to say that the splash screen, which is the loading screen that comes when you first launch the application, for some reason on the emulator it doesn't display properly, but on my actual physical device, my personal phone, it displays perfectly fine. So I'll probably put a screenshot in somewhere so you can see how it looks. And you'll see the splash screen, it's just like a little square icon. I don't know why it happens, but it's like that. As you can see, it's here. Before we get into this explaining it, the theme that I chose for this application, to be honest, with the colors, I'm not too sure because, colors aren't my strong point, but I tried to make sense of it. But I went for a neomorphic theme, and you can just do a quick Google search to find out what that is. But other than the colors, I went for a kind of simple design, and I tried to use the neomorphic UI design, which is quite cool. I'm quite fond of that, but yeah, you'll see how it is. So anyway, it's like an off-white background. I can't even tell what color that is. Probably like a light grey or just a darker than the white. But yeah, on the home page we have an app bar, and the first leading icon button is an information icon button, and if you press that, it takes us to the about page. And as you can see, the neomorphic container here, which is very nice. I just love it. So the about page tells us exactly what the application is for, and as I mentioned, the dhikr, the remembrance of the religion, it just explains all of that. So you can scroll through this and just read a bit of information about it, which is actually quite good, especially if like I said, if there's anyone who's not religious or doesn't know about the religion, if they actually read this, then it will actually give them some insight of what it is. But anyway, yeah, we can go back. And then on the home page also, in the app bar, we have the dark mode theme. And literally, this is why I implemented in the last 2 weeks, because I did add a dark theme to the application. However, my sister pointed out that it wasn't persistent. So you'd put it on dark theme, then when you change the page or when you go out of the application and re-enter it, it just changes back to the light theme. So it didn't really work properly. Then last week I had to really research about how to use it properly and how to make a persistent theme, and it's just amazing, and it's just so cool. And I also like how the colors and the neomorphic designs change from the light theme to the dark theme. I wish we could have done that in this video, but oh well. I'll show you the dark mode in a second, okay? So, but as you can see, it's like a switch here, which if you flip, it'll change from dark to light mode. Before we go to the main content, we have a little app tool here, app tool button, and that is also one thing that I implemented 2 weeks ago, which would have been crazy if we implemented it now. But to be honest, with the app tool, it wouldn't have been as interesting, because that was something that I had to learn about, because I didn't really know anything about that before. I've always wanted to figure out how do you do an app tool, and how do you guide your user through the different parts of the application, and I was clueless of how to do it. So I had to learn my way through it. There's 2 sections here. There's morning Adhkar, which is the morning remembrance that we're prescribed to do in the morning, and it says to be recited from after Fajr with an icon of a sun, because Fajr means the prayer that is done before sunrise. So the morning Adhkar is a set of prescribed dhikrs to be done after Fajr, which is after the morning prayer, and the morning prayer is done before sunrise. And then we have the evening Adhkar, the evening remembrance, and this is to be done after Asr, and Asr is the midday prayer, okay? So that's done just when it's becoming a little bit darker in the sky. Okay, so these are the different times we're supposed to do it, and we have 2 different sections for them. So if we click on the morning Adhkar, for example, it takes us to the list of morning Adhkar. So we have the title of morning, and of course if you go to the evening, we have the title of evening. And you can see I did a kind of gradient to show the different times. So the morning is supposed to be done Fajr time, when the sun is coming up and the sky is getting brighter. So this is why I did a nice light blue gradient. And with the evening ones, I did a kind of like when the sun's coming down. But yeah, so we have the 2 tabs, the 2 pages, sorry, and each page is a list which is scrollable of the different items. Okay, I'll call these dhikr items, yeah. So if you look at the first one, for example, we have the title, which is Ayatul Kursi, which is the name of the dhikr, the name of the prayer or supplication. And sorry, beside it actually we have the number. So we have 1, 2, 3, all the way down to however many there are, okay. Underneath the title, we have a description about what the dhikr, what the remembrance or what this application is actually about. So the first one, as you can see, it is about the verse of Allah's throne, so the verse of God's throne. The second one is different surahs, so different stories from the Quran. The third one is superior form of seeking forgiveness. Okay, so in that one you're seeking forgiveness. And as you can see, as you scroll down, you can see the descriptions of each one, telling us which each one is, which is helpful, because as a Muslim, if you're not a native Arabic speaker and you're doing these prayers and these dhikrs, it's not really much use if you don't know what you're saying. So these descriptions are useful. And then underneath that, it has a type of tracker or counter. So we have the number of dhikrs recited out of the total that is to be recited, and we have the percentage as well, okay? These numbers here, like 0 out of 1, and there's, if you scroll down, there's 0 out of 3, 0 out of 4, 0 out of 100. These aren't just random numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 100. They are prescribed number of times that we're supposed to say the dhikr. Now let's do an example. Let's go down to this one. So istighfar, seeking his forgiveness, which means seeking God's forgiveness. If we click on it, okay, it takes us to this page. So here we have the actual counter page. This is the main page. At the top you can see we have 100, which is the prescribed number of times that we're supposed to repeat it. Then you have the description underneath it, and then underneath the description you have your progression. And your progress is, you have the number of times you've repeated it, and you also have the percentage of your completion, okay, which is good. Then underneath you have two buttons. You have the translation, so which you, if you click, it gives you a box of the translation, okay, which you can just click off of, okay. So this is the translation: I seek Allah's forgiveness and turn to Him in repentance. So that is the translation of what you're saying, which is very useful because, as I mentioned before, when you're speaking another language, especially when you're praying in another language, it's very useful to know what you're saying, to build that extra connection. And then we have another button for the virtue, which is something that I really like, because when you press this, it often gives you the rewards of what you're saying. So it gives you the benefits of what you're saying, and also it may give you the source of where it comes from. Where did it actually originate from? We're back to this page, and as you can see, this whole area here, you can't see my mouse, but the area where it says the Arabic and it's quite plain, it says at the bottom tap to count. So the way it works is you tap your phone, okay, you tap, and with each tap it does a count. And here it has the Arabic because you can, while you're looking at your phone, you can read off the Arabic and just tap, read off the Arabic and tap. And that way you're doing a count. You can do it easily with your phones, because nowadays everyone takes their phone everywhere with them. So whether you're going to work, coming home from work, going to school, out with your friends, wherever you are, you can just be doing your dhikr and you have no excuse. You have the Arabic here, you have the translation here, you even have the virtue, and you have your own progression. So you don't need to count in your head. You don't need to keep a mental count of how many you're doing. It's already there for you. So let's try it out. We click, and as you can see, it increases, and you can read it. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. Click. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. Click. And as you can see, it does have a short animation. You can't see my mouse, so what I'll do is I'll long press it so you can see the animation. At the bottom, there's a reset button. Now, of course, you know what it does. If you press it, it resets the whole dhikr, just this dhikr, okay? Now, let's say we've done only 5 of this, okay? And then we got busy. So we have to exit. Now, what we can see is that it actually saves. So here, you can see it says istighfar 5 out of 100. So our progress was saved. So if later in the day we come back to it, we can click on this and continue from where we left off. Okay, so let's go to one that can be done more quickly. So this one, salawat. Let's say we've done this. We're doing it. Then as soon as we finish, what happens? It gives us a notification. And it also gives us a sound, which we probably can't hear from the emulator. But it gives us a short pinging sound, which notifies us that we finished it. Because often, when you're not looking at your phone and you're just clicking, you won't realize that you're finished. So because it gives you that pinging sound, you can be notified that you're finished. And you look at the screen, it says, MashaAllah, well done for completing this dhikr. And you can close that. Once you close that, it takes you back to the list page. And now, there's something amazing here. What is this? The dhikr item, the card that showed you the dhikr before, it has turned blank. Okay, not blank, but it's become kind of transparent. Or translucent, if you'd like. And this is because you've completed it. As you can see, it says 10 out of 10 recited. Okay, so whichever ones you completed, for example, if you do this one at the bottom 3 times, it becomes translucent. Okay, which is a very nice touch because you can easily look here and keep track of which ones you've said and which ones you haven't completed yet. And also of course, there's this floating action button here that says reset all. So it's the very similar to the button we saw before, but instead of resetting a specific dhikr, it resets all of them. So if we press this, as you can see, they all return to their uncompleted state. And if you go back to the home page and go to the evening adhkar, it's all the same. So of course, it may have some different remembrances because there are different ones prescribed for the morning and different ones prescribed for the evening. It's the exact same, so it turns translucent once you completed it. Okay, everything's the same. You still have the translation, you still have the virtue, the progress, and everything like that. The same buttons. And now this is where the cool part comes, the dark mode. If we do turn it to dark mode, as you can see, everything changes. Okay, so the background color, the text color, and the neomorphism is just so cool. Just look at that. Just look at that container and the shadow around it. Yeah. But anyway, if you go back and let's say we complete one now. So we complete this one. Okay. And now it's also translucent. Okay. And this time it's a bit different, but it's still translucent, which indicates that you completed it. And you can change the dark mode from wherever you are. I didn't add a separate settings page because I wanted it to be easily accessible. I wanted to keep the application as simple as possible. So the dark mode toggle switch is just in the app bar. So wherever you go, whichever page you navigate to, you can change the theme. Now one last thing, and also just look at the icons as well. The icons change, which is quite cool. Anyway, so there's one more thing that I wanted to show. The feature is the app tour. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through the app tour. And in fact, I just kind of gave you an app tour, and now the application is going to give you another one. But it's quite cool to see how Flutter does it. Let's click on the app tour and see what it does. So about, it tells us the about page, view for more information about the daily Adhkar. We highly recommend that you read this. Then we click on the page, it takes us to the next widget, theme, toggle between light and dark mode. Then it says Adhkar, access your morning/evening Adhkar here. Then you click on it and it takes you to this page. Reset all. This button will reset all dhikr counters. Open a specific dhikr counter. This is the prescribed number of times to recite this dhikr. This is a short description or short note about this dhikr. Track how many times you've recited the dhikr and how much you've progressed. The translation, view the translation of what you're reciting and read about the benefits and rewards of this prescribed dhikr. And of course here is the main body. You have the dhikr written in Arabic. You can read it off the screen and tap anywhere within this space to increment the counter after each recital. And then you can reset the dhikr from here, of course. And that's the app tour finished. That was the application demonstration. If you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments. I would be appreciative and very grateful for any suggestions, criticism, improvements, or any features that I should add. Just in general, let me know your thoughts and suggestions and feedback in the comments, please. I'm not going to publish the application yet. I'm going to keep it in the testing phase because I want to keep on improving it and adding features. So it won't be available to download for everyone yet. However, if you would like to have early access to it and download it right now onto your Android phones, just for testing or just to see how it is and maybe give me some feedback, let me know. Either probably let me know in the comments below or contact me somehow. I don't know how that works, but contact me and I will add you to the pool of testers who have early access and who can download it right now. Now, I know that I said I was going to code in this video and add some features and then publish it with you guys and improve the application. However, I'm feeling very tired. The video has dragged on, and also tomorrow is the North London Derby, so I need to have energy for when I celebrate. But there will be a part 2 to this video, and in that video, hopefully we will code and publish the application. Okay, I will code, I will debug some issues, fix the bugs, improve the application, add some features, and open it up. And in that video is when I'll make it public, and I'll add the link in the description for the download. Other than that, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.